Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Oh, it's finally on the horizon, the Space Wolves chapter of the Psychic Awakening campaign. And please, Lord, let me get a Ragnar Blackmane model upgrade. But first, a beast is arising, and the Orks have come. The events we are discussing today are from the free short story The Stand of the Sabre by Callum Davis. And now this is a free short story over on the Warhammer Community website. And as I always say, I really recommend you read the story for yourself first, as that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. Not only is it free, but it's a great little read, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So what in Holy Terror's name are you waiting for? I will put a link to the story in the description as always. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Now this story takes place on the besieged homeworld of the Obsidian Jaguars chapter, who led by Captain Mesnan are making a desperate last stand upon the walls of the Sabre, their fortress monastery. But things are looking bleak. The Orks have come. Immediately the story kicks off with an almighty explosion as one of the Jaguar's strike cruisers plummets from orbit and crashes into the earth. The losing situation for the defence fleet just as dire as the one on the planet's surface. There's just too many of them. The shockwave winds of the explosion rack the battlements of the Sabre as Mesnan and his men brace against the force. His men are battered, mentally and literally. Their power armour dented and worn from weeks of battle, with no rest or respite. And I have to say, the writer Callum Davis does a fantastic job of setting the scene here. Sometimes with unknown chapters, it's hard to identify with them, as we have no knowledge of the characters or any kind of personal attachment to them. But it really draws you in straight away to their situation. The defence force is made up of whatever Marines happen to be on the world at the time, regardless of companies or squads. The chapter's servants and serf soldiery are on the brink of exhaustion, blooded, battered, bruised, in rags that no longer could be called uniforms. But still they continue with their duties. But then a sound fills the air. The howls of the winds had fallen away, replaced by howls of another kind. The bestial war cries filled the air, loud enough to give the helots cause to hesitate before they were rebuked by the Obsidian Jaguars, demanding ammunition. Mesnan looked out over the plains of Carousel and into the edge of the serpentine jungle beyond. The Greenskins were charging again. They flowed like the Arrowhead River during the season of downpouring. A green tide submerging the thousands of wrecked vehicles that carpeted the open plains. The Orks were within range of the whirlwinds, which were situated in the defence alcoves built into the higher battlements. The missile tanks weren't firing, however. Ammunition was too scarce to use until hits were guaranteed. Morkai's Roar, the chapter's prized relic Arcus strike tank, was also silent. Awakening the millennia-old vehicle was already an act of grim desperation. The thought of its potential loss was almost too much to bear. It had been a gift from the Space Wolves after the two chapters had fought side by side against the heretic Astartes on Bengil 7. What I would do for but a score of wolves to fight with us this day, Mesnan thought. He had never seen such potent savagery, such deadly warrior skill, nor such battle fury than that of the Space Wolves. Their chapter's combined strengths could surely turn the tide. Were they here? Mesnan observed the thundering hordes below. There were thousands in every charge. No number of dead enough to thin their ranks meaningfully. Perhaps not, he thought, then cursed himself for his negative thinking. Oh yes, fret not, Mesnan. We're not going to leave our Jaguar bros to their fate. Your calls have been heard. The wolves are coming. With a call of the Sabre will never fall, the last batteries of defence open fire. The explosions just absolutely obliterating the Orks' charge. Just absolute devastation in the massive greenskin bodies. But still they come. Sabre Master, defensive weapons ammunition is down to less than 23%, warned Nelk, the chapter's master of the forge. Only 10% of incendiaries remain. 3 in 5-point defense heavy bolter and autocannon turrets are destroyed or empty. Morkai's roar has fired its last. I shall set it to slumber. I recommend we cease fire. We will need the guns again against further assaults. Do it, brother, said Mesnan. We shall cast the Orks from the battlements with bolter and blade, as we have done a score of times. Hold firm, brother. This defense will be remembered in glory for the ages. Ah, what a line. Man, seriously, how can you not get amped? An unknown captain of an unknown chapter. But damn if I'm not on the walls of the Sabre with them. This defense will be remembered in glory for the ages. With that, the heavy guns cut out and the greenskin charge continues. The flames of the explosions snuffed out by the sheer weight of greenskin bodies, just pouring straight through the fires. The defenders on the walls open fire with bolters and lasgun, firing into the oncoming mass, becoming impossible to miss. There's just so many of them. Even the foundations of the Sabre itself begin to shake. The Orks returned fire. Streaks of poorly aimed rockets shot overhead, exploding ineffectually on the Sabre's 100-metre thick walls of solid volcanic rock. Others struck the battlements themselves, cracking parts of the masonry and sending flurries of shrapnel into those behind them. The obsidian jaguars in their power armour were largely unharmed. It was a different matter for the serfs. Dozens screamed in agony, clutching shattered limbs. Others gurgled as blood poured from their shredded necks. Medicae serfs ran across the length of the wall providing treatment, while stretcher bearers rushed to evacuate the wounded. The dead were shoved off the walls and into the courtyard behind. There was no time to remove them with respect. May their spirits forgive us, thought Mesnan. They had fought bravely and deserved better. Orks with jump packs strapped to their backs leapt from the onrushing mobs, soaring above the walls on great streams of fire. Mesnan didn't need to order his warriors to meet this threat. Squads had already been designated to air clearance duties. Even as he fired into the advancing masses, he saw the flying Orks' jump packs exploding after being hit by bolt rifle fire, or their heads bursting as bolt rounds detonated inside them. Mesnan saw one heading straight for him, and the captain calculated the Orks' approximate speed and trajectory. He didn't look up or cease his firing as the greenskin drew closer. Mesnan simply emptied his bolter, replaced the magazine, and resumed firing. He could see the reds of the brute's eyes, but didn't move or alter his stance. When the creature was but a handful of meters away, snarling with bestial fury and ready to kill, its chest exploded in a shower of gore that splattered over Mesnan's armour. Mesnan had no idea who had taken the killing shot. He had simply trusted that it would be made. My regards, brother. The Ork press continues, with the Orks getting closer by the second. They will be on the walls in moments. Chaplain Kualka strides the battlements, yelling his defiance at the Xeno filth, filling the defenders with pride and fury. There's a great line of his mere presence visibly stiffening serf and battle brother alike. You can really visualise him pacing across the walls, that sense of righteous courage filling your chest. Ladders crash against the walls and the Orks begin swarming up the ramparts. The human defenders no match for the Ork brutes who swarm over the walls. 3 men before Mesnan massacred as they desperately tried to force the beast back. Mesnan, drawing his power sword, rushed to face him. Your blood shall be shed next, filth, Mesnan said as he engaged. His parry of the Ork's first blow required 2 hands, the impact of the meeting blade shaking his entire body. He countered quickly with a number of thrusts to force the creature onto the defensive and drive it back to the ladder. For all the creature's raw power, it was no bladesman. Mesnan had spent years of his life in practice cages, He used his opponent's size and relative slowness against it, ducking blows, always moving and driving the orc to reckless anger. The brute overstepped, its desperation to kill leaving an opening. Mesnan took it, driving his blade into the greenskin up to the hilt and withdrawing it quickly, stabbing the greenskin twice more in quick succession. Another of the Xeno beasts was ascending the ladder. Mesnan kicked it in the jaw, sending it crashing into the heaving masses below. He looked along the length of the wall. In both directions, Space Marines and serfs were embattled. Green brutes in yellow armour poured onto the walls, but Mesnan's warriors were holding them. Xeno blood flooded the battlements. He knew it was time. And with that, Mesnan unleashes his last desperate gambit. Hidden sally ports open in the walls, and squadrons of predators and repulsors surge into battle, their weapons tearing into the orcs, before the tanks themselves crush any still standing, just literally crashing right through them. Inceptors leap into the hordes, guns blazing, and a dozen gunships appear overhead, just blanketing the enemy in fire. The orcs are driven back. The Sabre stands. For now. But Mesnan knows the same tactic won't work again. Even the orcs learn, and the strategic reports are more grim now than ever. "Emperor save us," he said. The picture of what was stacked against them had never been more stark. "We cannot hold," he thought. "Not unless our brothers return, or the wolves somehow come." Oh man, what a great short story that is. A great read by Callum Davis there, it really is. If you haven't read it guys, be sure to go check it out. It's free, so there's really no reason why not to spend 5 minutes enjoying such a fantastic story. I'd love to see the Obsidian Jaguars get some more development. This is a great introduction to the chapter. And oh, the wolves are coming alright. And man, I cannot wait. You think you're tough, Fracker? Just you wait till the Wolf King turns up. He'll eat you for breakfast. I mean, man, Russ snapped Magnus's back over his knee. But in the meantime, I'll settle for the Ragnar Blackmane model. So you better make it happen, GW. But it has to be said, it definitely seems that the new Fracker model is going to be absolutely awesome. But what did you guys think of the story? Are you hyped for the Orks finally getting some psychic awakening screen time? And what about the Obsidian Jaguars? Would you like to see more of them? As always, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love to read them. A huge thank you to all my subscribers. Your support really means a lot to me. It truly does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. If you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too? But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.